It is really a pleasure that we have among us Sri Prasnaran Mahanti with his long experience of teaching English. He is with us today, and all our teachers who will be listening to this course, I would request them to put any question if required to this chat box. We have among us Dr. Dibbajyoti Mahanta, who is our president of Sisika Samiti, Assam. He is also the Dean of Krishnakanta Handigoi Open University. So it is really a very interesting program. I would like to request all our teachers to listen to the webinar.
I'm there.
But
I'm here, not there.
okay, please continue. You must be knowing that we have about 558 schools under the Sisika Samiti Assam, and although our medium of instruction is Assamese, our teachers teach us English as a subject. So English is an international language, and even though our medium of instruction is Assamese, so English is a very important subject. And from that point of view, our teachers should also be aware of the English language and its literature. You have vast experience, so I hope today we will hear something new. I would request Mr. Mohanty to continue his speech. Thank you.
I said, but Dr. Dibbajyoti Mahanta should have spoken something, isn't it?
He is there. He will be speaking.
Okay. Okay. Okay then. Yeah. Thank you. सबको नमस्कार और I really thank शिशु शिक्षा समिति, to be specific, Professor Dibbajyoti Mahanta and others belonging to this committee for inviting me to interact with you about, the importance of English. Many of us, why many? Almost most Indians, maybe more than 99.9% of the Indians believe that English is a foreign language. Let me tell you, English is not a foreign language in 2022. French is a foreign language, German is a foreign language, Chinese is a foreign language, Japanese is a foreign language, Spanish is a foreign language, but not English. English was born in a foreign land, but no more it's a foreign language. It's an Indian language, as Tamil is a language of Sri Lanka. It's a language in some Southeast Asian countries such as Malaysia. So English is an Indian language today because you can go to, let's say, a traffic inspector and ask him in English, where is the, which is the way to go to Guwahati University. Suppose I get down at Guwahati Airport. I'll go to somebody and ask in English, how should I go to Guwahati Airport? But you cannot do that in French, German, Spanish, Chinese, Russian, or whatever it is.
Excuse me, sir. Please switch on your camera.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Now, so, this is very important for us. And I'll probably ask you another question. And here I need an answer also from, most of you. Suppose you go to China, what is the language there? My dear teachers. Hello.
No one is.
Hello. Dibajyoti Babu, your teachers should respond. Otherwise, it will be a kind of classroom lecture, which I don't want to do.
Yes, dear teachers, please respond to our resource person.
in chat box.
Okay. So
In
Alpana
chat
Nath
box,
has,
can
yes, it is given that it is Chinese.
Okay. If you go to Spain, what's the language?
Chinese language, sir. They use
If you
their
go
own
to,
language, Chinese language.
no, that I know. If you go to Spain, what is the language there? I'm asking. Okay, thank you. If you go to Russia, yes. If you go to Russia, what's the language? Okay. Now, if you go to Germany, what's the language? Oh, acha, okay. If you go to Germany, what's the language?
German language.
No, German. That's the right way. Now, suppose I somebody comes to India. What is the language?
Hindi, either Hindi or English.
If you
If
say
someone
that,
comes from the foreign
no,
country,
no,
then
wait,
they
no,
use their
no, wait. Hindi is not the language in India. Only language in India. Let me tell you, English is not the only language in India. That's what I'm saying. India does not have a national language. Is it clear?
yes, sir.
India does not have a national language. That is what the Constitution of India says. India doesn't have a national language, though there is a widespread belief that Hindi राष्ट्र भाषा है. ये गलत है. This is wrong. India is a country where thousands of languages are spoken. Let's be proud of that we have so many languages. And all languages are important for a country like India. I'll give you a few examples. The Britishers went to America some 300, 400 years ago. And, when they went there were almost 250 to 300 local languages, American languages which were spoken, American languages, local American languages. Today, there are hardly 25, 30. Within 300-400 years, most of the languages have died. Died, no, they were killed, in fact. The Britishers went to Australia. Australia was the Kala Pani for, the English people those days. Whenever there was a convict, did something like that, he was or she was sent to Australia. And when they went to Australia, the same thing. There were something like 250 languages, the local languages, indigenous languages. But today, the same kind of thing, there are 25, 30 languages, local languages, indigenous languages spoken in Australia, 40 languages, not more even 40. And all these local languages were killed. They were murdered, whatever you want to say. You can call it linguistic genocide if you like. But India has nurtured thousands of languages for millennia, for thousands of years. Never we heard that, oh, this language is died, that language died. No, such a thing has hardly happened in this country. So, whatever is happening now is a very recent phenomenon which is happening for the last 30, 40 years, not more. I should say 30 years, not even 40 years. After internet, this, that, all sorts of things, things are changing. And we have not been very careful about languages also. That language is a resource that is not quite, clearly emphasized in our country. I'll give an example. There is a ministry for everything, but is there a ministry of languages? Is there a Ministry of Languages in our country? My dear teacher colleagues, what happened? Tell me yes or no. Look, I don't know if there are teachers listening to me or not. That I also don't know. Of course, Dibajit Babu and a few others are there, definitely. But whether others are listening to me or not, that I would like to know. Hello? Okay. Okay. So, yeah, I know that. No, Dibajit Babu, I know that, but people must respond a little bit. That's what I'm saying. Okay. Now, see that India has been nurturing languages, and that is the reason for which, there was I mean, if you look at the history, you will know that uh, people wanted to make Hindi the national language. So 15 years were given for that purpose, from 1950 till 1965, so that if you make a language a national language, you must be ready with everything to be done in that language. So 15 years were given, but towards after 1960, 62, 63, people became restless, and people thought, especially in the non-Hindi speaking areas, people thought there was an imposition of Hindi, for which there was a kind of discontent and all sorts of things happened, for which government of India decided that let's follow the three language formula. I'm sure all of you know the three language formula. And and three language formula, it meant first language, it is the language of the state. Let's say there is a problem here also, because suppose there are many tribals in Assam. Their their mother tongue is not Assamese. They speak one language at home. When they go to the school, they learn Assamese. But the government of India decided that let's follow the three language formula. The first language, that is the language of the state, then second language Hindi, then the third language should be English. But we all know that the three language formula was being supported, promoted by three big institutes of this country. Mother tongues, Indian languages, was promoted by the Central Institute of Indian Languages. The head office is at Mysore, and it has branches in many parts of the country. Central Institute of Hindi, head office at Agra. It has offices in all over the country. Central Institute of English at Hyderabad. It was not CFL those days. It was CIE, Central Institute of English, to promote English. Later, it became CIEFL, Foreign Languages, and finally now it is IFLU, the English and Foreign Languages University. Three institutes were given the responsibility to promote the three language formula. But we all know that it is not very successful, because I can tell you from my experience, in many conferences or meetings, whenever I start speaking in English, some people tell me, can you not speak Hindi? When I start speaking Hindi, some people say, oh, can you not speak English? We don't understand Hindi. Now, what I did that in a few places. Actually, there is something called Center for Cultural Resources and Training under the Culture Ministry at Hyderabad. They used to invite me for talks on multilingualism, mother tongues, and etc. etc. And participants were there, always from almost all states of the country, various states of the country, sometimes even more than 100, 120, 30, something like that. And whenever I start, because I teach linguistics, or used to teach English, linguistics, etc., in the English medium. So when I started speaking English, some people from the north will say, no, no, will you please speak in Hindi? When I started speaking Hindi, others said, can you not, we don't understand English or Hindi, can you speak in English? Especially people from the South India. So finally, after doing it a few times, 3-4 times, I started asking them a question. Why do you expect me to speak, know both the languages, English and Hindi? Why don't you claim that you also know both the languages? Because obviously I was older than most of them. So when I started asking these questions, after that they stopped asking me such a question. Because they themselves, some of them, suppose this 3 language formula was implemented, let's say in 1970, a little before that, 68, 69, around that, 70. So 50 years have passed in the meantime. And that means somebody who was born in 19, let's say 60, should have been a multilingual, should have definitely known the mother tongue, Hindi and English, but that wasn't true. We found that either most people understand either Hindi or English, nothing like that. I'll give you statistics if you want. Now, this I will of course like to have an answer from you. Can you please tell me, what percentage of Hindi speakers in this country are trilingual? कितने % लोग जो हिंदी भाषी हैं, उनको 3 भाषाएं आती हैं, they are trilingual. Some guesswork it will do. Some response, some kind of any response will do.
I think 30-40%.
Okay. Any other response? Any other response? Yes. Now, if I tell you the figures given to us by the Census of India that was done in 2011, that we have decennial census. Every 10 years, the government of India does a census. And I'm sure some of you might have been census enumerators also. You go to the families and ask them, what's your mother tongue? What other languages do you know? And you get the answers, and that's how the whole thing is done. Then there is a process. So it is how it is done. You will be surprised to know that the exact figure is 1.49% of the Hindi speakers are trilingual. इसका मतलब है कि 1.5% से कम लोग हिंदी भाषियों में 3 भाषाएं जानते हैं. Only 1.5. No, it's not 10%. 1.49 to be exact. I'm giving you the figures given to us by the Census of India. Can you tell me how many speakers what % among the Hindi speakers are bilingual? Yes, 1.49. Yes, right. That's right. How many people are bilingual? Any idea? Yes, it's surprising. Of course, it's surprising. I want to give you the data so that you will know the situation. Then only we can discuss something in a meaningful way. How many Hindi speakers are bilingual? Any idea? It is 11.54. That means 11.5% लोग हिंदी भाषियों में से bilingual हैं. मैं नहीं बोल, I am not saying that these figures are sacrosanct. They are 100% correct. No, I am not saying that. There may be a little difference that's this side and that side. But if it is 11.5%, it's a matter of concern. I'm giving you the data from Hindi. I can give you data from other languages also. No, it's not 1.4. That's not correct. So it's 11.54 are bilingual among the Hindi speakers. So this is the linguistic situation in India, language situation in India. And Tamil is competing with Hindi. Yes, that's true. That's true. Pramod, that's true. That's correct. Now, the language that is competing with Hindi in this regard is Tamil. Then other languages. It is not a very healthy situation in our country. It's not a healthy situation. And as educated citizens, the purpose of talking to you is that all of you are teaching thousands of students in schools. That is very important for me. Now, you are the people who are going to shape the future of this country by way of teaching these young minds, young kids. They will be our future citizens. If we give them the right kind of approach, if you tell them what to do, what not to in this country, hopefully after 50 years, 100 years, this country will be what I want to see. Vishwaguru, vibrant India. So that kind of thing we want to see, and that will take time. Let's make a beginning today. That's the purpose of talking to you. Okay. Now, as I was mentioning to you, you go to China, Chinese, go to Russia, Russian, go to Italy, Italian, go to, let's say, Spain, Spanish. Come to India, nobody can say that this is the language in India. No. That's why India has two official languages, English, Hindi, and first official language. Second official language is English, Hindi, English. And there are 22 scheduled languages. But the Constitution of India, says that we have two official languages and 22 scheduled languages. Okay. And now we have, I'll ask you another question. Since, we are talking, yes, the medium of instruction is Assamese. That is something which is important. This is something which is a must. It's a great thing to be taught in the Assamese medium for the people, of Assam in the beginning. And that is what our National Education Policy 2020 document also says. It says that the first 5 years of a child's life, in the education institution must be in the mother tongue. Must be in the mother tongue. 3 years of preschool and 2 years of school. When you talk about that, now my question has been, I have asked this question to many people in many webinars and seminars. Can anybody tell me how many mother tongues are there in this country? When the NEP document says it is a great document, after a long time we have such a good document which is futuristic. It has a big dream. Yeah, we must have, our dream must be big so that the achievements may be little less than that. And if you have a small dream, the achievement will be smaller. So let's have a big dream. This is a great document, and I'm full of praise for this kind of document. But my question is, what about the implementation? Preparing a document is a great thing, no doubt. But at the same time, implementation is more important than preparing a document. Our problem here is that, first, the initial 5 years should be in the, learning must be in the mother tongue. Now, my question is, when document says mother tongue, my question is, how many mother tongues are there in the, one must know how many mother tongues are there in the country, isn't it? Yes or no? Good. Yeah, that's good. Oh, Avinas, you have heard it from me many times. You shouldn't answer. You have heard it from me many times. I want this answer from the teachers of Assam. Avinas is my student, he is his doctoral student. Now there are 1,369 other towns in this country according to the 2011 census data report. That's a questionable. No, that's not it. 1,369. Let's say there's no. Now the question will be, who is going to prepare materials, teaching materials in 1,369 other towns? Do you have the manpower? Do you have people trained to that kind of thing? I have told you that there are two because there are umpteen number of tribal language children who go to school. They find that the medium of instruction is the dominant language of the state. Take for example a Zeme speaking child or a let's say a Nagam some Naga language speaking child goes to a school where the medium of instruction is Assamese. Then the children will feel like a fish out of water because the child doesn't speak. A 4-year, 5-year-old child doesn't speak, speaks only a Naga language or Mizo or whatever it is at home. When she goes to, school, then obviously it's always the dominant language. That's why this document says that the first 5 years must be in the mother tongue. The Constitution of India also says that, but it's not a must. It says that in the beginning it should be the mother tongue. It's there in the Constitution also. Now, how to implement this? So that is then issue, and we must start thinking. The government of India and we, being conscious citizens, patriots, Indians who are prepared to do everything for this country, we must start thinking about this thing. Number one. Number two, I'll come back to the two official languages, Hindi and English. Now, can you tell me what percent of Indians speak Hindi as a second or third language, and what percent of Indians speak English as a second or third language? This is something I'm sure some of my friends, my young friends, may not be able to tell you because I don't discuss all this part with them very often. I have not done it. Can anybody tell me what percent of Indians speak Hindi as a second language or third language? Mother tongue, you forget. Mother tongue, we know. The numbers are given. And the numbers are also given. We are lucky because before 91 there was no data about the bilingual or trilingual figures. Now we get data, so that's quite important. Yeah. No, I would like to have the percent roughly. Any guesswork will do. What percent of Hindi speakers, what percent of, how many Indians or what percentage of Indians speak Hindi as a second or third language or subsidiary language, and English as a subsidiary language? You'll be surprised to know that the figures are not very different. The percentage of Hindi speakers no Pramod, it's an inflated figure. The total number of, let's say, percent of speakers of Hindi as a second and a subsidiary language in all the states and union territories of India is 13.47%. No, that's not true. Not 43%. Forget it. It's 13.47, 13.47%. I'm quoting the Census of India data. So it's less than 13.5%. Come to English, it is 10.58%. So little more than 10.5%. So the difference is, okay, roughly 3%. It's not a big difference taking the population of the country into consideration. So the claim that people have been making that, oh, Hindi is spoken by most people in this country is not correct. It's not correct. I'm emphasizing it's not correct. I'm talking about the reality of this country. Now, English 10.58, Hindi 13.47%. The total 13.47, yes, Hindi, yes, and English is 10.58. So roughly you can say, okay, if you like, you can say 11% and 14%, that kind of thing. Okay, even if you say that, that's not a big thing. Now, in this context, we will have to consider why English is important. With this background, now I am going to say why English is important. Now, since all of you are Assamese teachers, I know because I am an Odia speaker, I am a very proud Odia speaker. I am very proud of my mother tongue, and why I want all of you to be very proud of your mother tongues. You say, बिल्कुल गर्व से आप लोग बोलिए कि हाँ मैं ओहमिया भाषी हूँ, I speak Ohmiya. And if there is any tribal language speakers, you also say that yes, I do speak Ao Naga, I speak Angami Naga, I speak Mizo, I speak Panar, I speak Khatsi, and all this. You very proudly you say all those things. I speak missing. I say, oh, whatever it is, you say that very proudly, because that is how India has survived for thousands of years with all these languages. That is our strength. Let me tell you, plurality is our strength, not weakness. And as you know, India has been a Vishwaguru because of this reason. Because if there is a plurality, then why are we talking about biodiversity? Why? Why are we spending thousands of crores rupees to protect, let's say, 300, 3,200, 2,500, 3,000 tigers? Why? If suppose by chance these 3,000, 2,500, 3,000 tigers die, will there be a tsunami? Will there be an earthquake? No. Because thank you. Yes, I know. It's because we want biodiversity, we want diversity. That's what in the among the animals. Just if you want biodiversity, if you are protecting the trees, you cannot cut a tree now without the permission of the forest department or whatever department. You cannot do that. And you know that some actor killed a black buck, and for that, wow, he was flying from Bombay to that court, and all these things happened. All of you know that story. So you cannot cut a tree, you cannot kill an animal. That's great. It's a great decision to save the environment. But what about language environment? Languages must be protected. And we know that we know the environment only in the mother tongue. I'm sure if I ask you name 10 birds in English, you will take 5-7 minutes. You will pause, you will fumble, start thinking, then you say 10 birds in English or in Hindi. For Assamese speakers, I am saying. But if I ask you name 10 birds in Assamese, you will take hardly, maybe 40-50 seconds, 5 seconds for each bird. You can do it. because we know the environment in our mother tongue in a better way. That's why conservation of mother tongues will lead to the conservation of the environment and biodiversity. Mother tongues are extremely important, no doubt about it. And that is why I am full of praise for the National Education Policy 2020 document, that it has emphasized the education in the medium of the mother tongues of this country. But implementation is a problem. The government has to decide how to teach children in these 1369 mother tongues. That the government has to decide, and it cannot be just like that. And anybody cannot write a primer in this language. Yes, you cannot do that. Anybody cannot do that. People must be trained to write primers for languages, but which doesn't happen. I'll give you many examples. I'll give you probably one or two examples, but here I will need an answer from you. How many numbers are there in Assamese? बचन जिसको बोलते हैं आप लोग, कितने बचन हैं असमी अहोमिया भाषा में, according to the grammars that you have read or you are teaching? If there is an Assamese teacher, please let me know कि बचन कितने होते हैं असमीज भाषा में. Any answer? Please answer. I would like to know. Thank you. What are those? I'm sure there are two numbers. Yes, you are very right, very correct. Ekavachan, Bahuvachan, singular, plural. Suppose I say that Assamese does not have number. वचन नहीं है, जो एक वचन बहुवचन, difference between एक वचन and बहुवचन doesn't exist in Assamese. No, एक वचन बहुवचन, whatever you are teaching is not correct. Because mojam, amijam, look at the verb. Mojam, I go. I alone go, singular. Amijam, we plural. Jam doesn't change. If you translate mojam into English, it will be I go. And if you say amijam, the same thing. The verb is singular, not plural. In Hindi, how will you do that? Let me translate it into Hindi. That's better, because English also doesn't have agreement in this place. Mojam, मैं जाता हूँ. आमीजाम, हम जाता हूँ, हम जाते हैं नहीं. In Hindi it is मैं जाता हूँ, हम जाते हैं. See, the verb is different when the subject is plural. लड़का जाता है, लड़के जाते हैं. But in Hindi, no. In Assamese, no. See that there is no number agreement, which is not taught in Assamese grammars. Just like that, teaching mother tongue is a very different thing. It's a very different thing. That requires training. That requires training. Because number in grammar is not number as we say 1, 2, 3, 4. No, it's not that. When you say ekavachan, bahuvachan, there must be agreement between the subject and the verb, as Hindi has. English has only in the third person. He goes, they go. Otherwise, everywhere I go, we go. You alone go, you all go. English has lost in the first person and in second person. The number agreement is written only in the third person. But in a language like Hindi, there is everywhere you have agreement. Assamese doesn't have. Bengali doesn't have. Bangla doesn't have that also. Ami jai, amra jai. See the same thing, just like Assamese. Odia has, but it's half. I won't discuss that in some detail. Now, mother tongue education is quite important. It requires training. That's what I'm trying to emphasize. So then only this implementation of the National Education Policy 2020 will be successful. Otherwise, no, it's very difficult. Now let's get back. I have told you that India has two official languages. All of you know that. There's nothing new for, I have not told you anything new. Two official languages, Hindi and English. The question is, do you have the latest knowledge books in Hindi or in Assamese or in Marathi or in Gujarati or in Bangla or Tamil, Telugu? Do you have all those things? What I'm trying to ask you is, can anybody write astrophysics in Hindi, metallurgy in Assamese? Can you write? If you say no, my question will be, if you have not been able to develop your language to such an extent that we can write everything in that language, then why are you not talking about English? Because knowledge is there in English, no doubt about it. Most of the, whatever knowledge we have, latest knowledge that is being produced in the whole world is found in English. Yes or no? I'm sure all of you will agree that, most of the, knowledge books are written in English. If there is a book of knowledge in some other language, it's translated to English. So if we don't have books on, let's say, dealing with various types of knowledge in our languages, including Hindi, I'm emphasizing, should we not emphasize English? Should we not emphasize learning English? It's a must, because we cannot lag behind. If we don't read latest knowledge, if you don't get the latest knowledge, then we'll be far behind whatever the world is doing. So you must read English. We must know how to read and write English. We can write in our languages. I do write in Odia. On language and linguistics, I write in Odia. I have published books in Odia. Because if I don't write in Odia, who will write? Who will do that? I write in English for, my career, so that people will know me, or people give me promotion and I'll be invited, etc., etc. At the same time, I do write in Odia so that those people who don't read English, those Odias who don't read English, should also be benefited. They must read that. That's what I do. So it's time we started acquiring knowledge which is in English, and you can write in English, and we have to write in our mother tongues also. That's what is required. So this is something quite important for us, and that's the reason for which we prefer what is called multilingual education. And I have mentioned to you that the three language formula has not been very successful. Why should it has never not been it has not been successful in this country. I have seen many people from the south don't understand Hindi. Many people from the northeast don't understand Hindi. Recently, I was in Punjab. Recently means say 2-3 months ago, I was in Punjab and traveled through a lot of areas in Punjab. I hardly saw a board written in Hindi. Hardly saw a board written in Hindi. Everywhere it was Punjabi. Go to Gujarat, most of the places you will see Gujarati, not Devanagari. Nothing is written in Devanagari except in government buildings and all these offices, something like that. The same thing happens in Assam also. I have traveled, to various places in Assam. So knowledge is something which is quite, so it's not true that most of the Indians do know Hindi very well. That's not correct. Now, Hindi and English both are official languages. and the knowledge is in English books, not in Hindi books. There is no original writing on, let's say, astrophysics in Hindi or some oncology in Hindi. Most of these things are in English. And if you want to be a knowledge state, if you want to be a nation full of knowledge, you will have to read English. There is no other go. Because it will take decades to develop our languages. Now there is an attempt to teach, let's say, chemistry, sciences, technology, etc., in the Indian language medium. It's a good effort, but we'll have to first of all, do a kind of pilot study and see what is happening, what are the results. Then only it's possible. And it's difficult in the sense that because I read some books written on, let's say, science books written in Odia and Hindi. I have read Bangla also. It's very difficult to understand. I assure you, I don't have the data, otherwise I could read something also to you. It's very difficult to understand. Because people who have translated these things, they have done it as a job. They must try to see if the students for whom they are writing this book, translating these books, or writing these books, do those children understand whatever is written or not. That's more important. Publishing a book is not important. In, let's say, an Indian language like Assamese, somebody may write a book on physics in Assamese. That's okay. It will be published also. But do the class 5, 6, 10, 9, 11, 12, children understand? Do they understand whatever is written in Assamese or not? That's important. So such experiments are to be done in order to find whether teaching will be successful or not, whether the students will be benefited if we teach these things or not. That's why let's start implementing a policy that is something called multilingual education policy. Multilingual education policy means, as I have already heard it from you, English is a subject. Why should English be a subject? Let's say if there are some, science, mathematics, such international subjects, suppose they are taught in the English medium. Medium of instruction will be English. So English will not be a subject only, it should be a medium of instruction also. Let's say Hindi, something like civics, geography, and something like that, something like that in Hindi. Then also, let's say literature and some other subjects in Assamese. That there must be a debate at the national level. People must talk, discuss, then come to a conclusion. If you are talking about three-language formula, it is very good to implement three-language formula. But at the same time, we must be clear that do we have knowledge books which deal with the latest knowledge in science, arts, various other things, various other things, whatever it is, music, painting, etc., in our languages or not. And I'm sure most of you will agree with me that Indian language books are not highly advanced so far as these things are there. And this is the reason for which, and knowledge, all the latest knowledge is written in English. And without English, we cannot do anything today, in today's parlance, I'm saying. And that's very important. Yeah, I know that there are lots of people who have written original literature in English, and I'm sure you have heard of a writer called U.R. Anantamurthy, Professor U.R. Anantamurthy. He was a professor of English, and he got a degree from the United Kingdom in English, but he always wrote the novels in Kannada because he was a Kannada speaker. He thought that he can express his ideas in a better way in his mother tongue Kannada, not in English. He was a professor of English, very well known professor of English. And his novels were translated by others. For example, A.K. Ramanujan into English. He never wrote in English, creative literature, not in English. So, there are certain things which can be better expressed in the mother tongues, certain things which can be better expressed in Hindi and English. So, we'll have to have a debate. Nobody can decide that, oh, this is what is going to be. Let's not do that. Let's debate for about 2-3 years. Let people think about what is happening. Let's look at the ground realities. Then you can decide what will happen. But right now, English is extremely important in this country. Because if you want to have the latest knowledge, we'll have to read books in English. Without that, nothing can be done. Because I know when certain things are translated from English into our languages, whether translation is reliable or not, that's a question. If by chance there is a little problem in translation, it will, the whole thing will vanish. I will not discuss that, how translation has caused a lot of damage to, certain things. Yes, but terminology is important, but at the same time, what kind of language you use, because scientific texts have a different kind of language, which is not literature, which is not normal, the way we write letters or something like that. So these are the issues which must be discussed. First of all, terminology. Yes, we have to create that kind of terminology which will be acceptable to the people, and it must be comprehensible to the people. And sometimes people give such terms for English, terms that it's very difficult to understand. And there was a time when there was a proposal. I have read it, and I don't disbelieve that. Sometime when people thought necktie should be called Kantlangot. I have read it. One of the leading, scholars of Odia has written that. There was a time, there's some kind of discussion, a necktie should be called Kantilongo. And there are people who translate bus, translate truck, translate, rail, gadi, etc., into, Indian language. It's not necessary. Bus, truck, car, rail, these are all Indian now. They belong to us. English has borrowed many words from all over the world. And it has borrowed many words from Indian languages also. I was discussing with a colleague a couple of days ago. Rice is an Indian word. Mango is an Indian word. So if they can borrow rice in Indian, and we even don't know that mango has gone from India to English, rice has gone from India to English, why should we think about whether bus is a foreign word or not? Bus, truck, car, all these things are, computer, these are all Indian words now. That's okay. The bus belongs to my language. Car belongs to my language. It's Odia, it's Assamese, it's Bangla, it's Hindi, perfectly all right. So whatever people have accepted, let's accept those words. And certain words will never be borrowed, never be accepted. You must know that at the same time. I'll give an example. All of you know English, but has anybody, yes, you are right. You are right. Yes, it has gone from, it's not only Tamil, Dravidian languages. Yes, it's Mangai. There is Mangai from in Tamil. Yes, true. So this kind of thing. Now, we must know that, these are our words. Let's be proud of. There's no question why you should translate everything. And I'll tell you, there are certain words which are never borrowed from one language to another. Those words are sacrosanct. I'll give you a simple example. Has anybody ever said while speaking Assamese, let's say, let me give you, say that in Hindi, so that, in case somebody wants to, let's say, Okay, let's say it's not good, but let me say that मेरा nose में दर्द है, pain है. Have you ever heard that? ये मेरी नाक is feminine in Hindi, but मेरा nose में दर्द है और मेरा ear में दर्द है. Have you ever heard that? While speaking Assamese, have you ever used let's say nose and ear while speaking Assamese? Or naak or kaan? I'm sure most of you will say that yes, we use only naak and kaan, never nose. While speaking, as all of you know English, even if you are teachers of English, you have done a master's degree in English, you have done a PhD in English, you always use naak and kaan, never nose and ear while speaking Assamese. So, no, English and Assamese are mixed, but you never use nose and ear, I'm saying. Other things are okay. Pant, shirt, that's okay. I'm talking about words like nose, ear, hand, leg. Nobody will say, no, मेरा leg में दर्द है. No. मेरा hand में दर्द है. No. That is very important. So, that kind of thing is quite important. Remember that. So, certain words are never borrowed. They are the core, Atma. That's the soul of a language. And certain words are borrowed. Short pant, they are just dress. That's not an issue. So, here we must be very careful and that we don't borrow this core, this soul from other languages. We will never, suppose nobody will say, I घर जाऊंगा, I कल घर जाऊंगा. Nobody will say that. Everybody will say, मैं कल घर जाऊंगा. Something like that. So these are quite important. Look, this swathe and sweat, that's different. We'll discuss these things later. That's okay. There are, 2, 2, 3, 3, 5 penta, 7 hepta, 8 octa. These things we will discuss later. Let's not worry about that. Now the question here is, this is something which we must understand, that our languages, mother tongues are extremely important, because this is the final thing I'll say. If a person is strong in mother tongue, it will be very easy for him or her to acquire other tongues. That means if a child knows Assamese very well, it will be very easy for her to acquire Hindi or English. There is a person called Gene Cummins. Another, there are some others also. Cummins has talked about the common underlying proficiency of languages. If you learn your mother, or if you acquire your mother tongue very well, it will be very easy for you to, acquire any language, any other language. Doesn't matter, Tamil, Hindi, English, Spanish, whatever it is, it will be very easy. I have experimented that on my own children. When I shifted to Hyderabad, both my kids were very small, and I got them admitted into an English medium school on the campus, at the University of Hyderabad campus. And after 2-3 months, the English teacher called me and told me that, Dr. Mahanti, your children cannot speak English well. I said, yes, I know that. Oh, you know that? Yes. Then she asked me, why don't you talk to your children in English at home? I'm sure some of the English teachers must have advised the parents that you should speak to your children in English at home. No, not at all. Because being a linguist myself, I never did that. Though my wife is quite educated, she is a PhD, we never spoke to our children in English at home. Never. We spoke to them, look, Hyderabad, the outside world speaks only Telugu. We spoke to our children only in Odia and nothing else. Now I can tell you, my children now speaks, both the children, kids, both my children speak better English than me. They speak better Hindi than me. They speak better Telugu than me, and their Odia is as good as mine. Nobody would know that, they have been They have spent so many years, most part of their life outside Odisha. In fact, whenever my relatives come from Odisha, to Hyderabad, they used to say that, oh, your children speak better Odia than our children who are in Odisha. It's because we emphasized, that they learned Odia very well at home. If the first language, if the child is strong in the first language, will be strong in all other languages, second language, whatever it is, English or Hindi, Tamil, whatever it is, doesn't matter. So let's emphasize acquisition of the mother tongue at home. No English. There's no point in teaching a 2-year child, this is nose, this is head, this is ear. No, it's useless, meaningless. This causes an interference. It causes an interference and hindrance. Let's emphasize that, and let's not treat English as a foreign language. It's no more a foreign language, it's an Indian language. As you go to a place, you can ask, if you are in, let's say, Gujarat, you will be, it's better if you learn Gujarati. If you are in Kashmir, it's better if you speak Kashmiri. If you are in Tamil Nadu, it's better if you, go and ask somebody in Tamil. Just like that, go to any place, ask in Hindi or English. That's okay. But you cannot do the same in Japanese, Chinese, Russian, or Spanish, French, etc., etc. That's why English is not a foreign language. It's an Indian language now. Let's treat English as an Indian language. Though it is not a part of those 22 scheduled languages, it is the second official language of the country. So it has a status. So English is quite important for us in order to be familiar with the latest knowledge which are produced in English. And for learning good English, we must emphasize our mother tongues. Thank you very much for this opportunity. With these words, I think, I'm sure there will be questions. If there are some questions, etc., etc., welcome.
So yes, sir, it was a very nice talk I have ever heard. So at this point, before giving my comments, so I request our teachers, if they have any question, so they should feel free to ask.
Yeah, please
Mohanty
feel
sir.
free. Ask any question about Hindi, English, also Assamese if you like. And you can ask
Yes,
the question in Assamese also. I'll try to understand. I do understand. But you will be slow, your pace should be slow.
Uh,
yes, please.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. Yeah, Sarmishta Bora, please.
Yes, sir. I have a question for you.
Mohanty sir. Okay.
Sir.
I can hear.
Yes, sir. How
Yeah.
one can develop communication skill in school level?
Communication skill in which medium?
In English medium.
Okay.
In English
Okay.
medium, obviously. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, may I know your name, please?
Sharmishta Bora, sir.
Okay, Sharmishta ma'am.
Yes,
Do
sir.
you teach? Have you seen any parent teaching a language to his or her children at home?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
No,
Oh,
no,
you say that
normally they do not teach.
no parents don't teach a language to the children. Children acquire
Yes.
their language on their own.
Yes,
Automatically they learn it.
Yes.
yes, sir. They adopted.
So, what should be done? Why don't you create an environment in your school so that children will be speaking in English?
Yes, sir. That's
You
true.
tell them that the moment they cross the school gate,
Mm.
they know only
Oh,
one language, that is English. No
in
Assamese.
classroom. In classroom also we can develop.
No, that's what I'm. No. In classroom, there is only English is a subject.
Yeah.
So that means 45 minutes or 1 hour in a day.
Yeah.
No, that doesn't work. say that, I don't say that whole day. No, not whole day. Certainly not whole day. But say that right from 10 to 1, before the recess, so-called lunch break or whatever it is, every child should speak, or those who are keen, should speak English in the class. No,
Okay,
because they
sir.
must, no, don't be worried if they are making mistakes, because children also make a lot of so-called mistakes. Those are not
Mistakes,
mistakes
sir.
anyway. No, they are not mistakes. Well, whatever a child makes is not a mistake. She
Mistakes.
follows a grammar. She follows a
Okay.
grammar which is different from our grammar, adult grammar.
Okay.
That I'll
Right.
discuss some other day with you. So that I can give a lot of evidence from Indian languages, from English and other languages, to show that no, it's not a mistake. So that's what the
Thank.
kids must be doing. So once you do that, there won't be any problem at all.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your advice.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. Is there any other question from other participants? So you can put it in the chat box also. No problem.
Yeah.
If you
Yes.
can.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. You can ask me in Hindi. You can ask me in Assamese. You can ask me in English. Whatever it is, that's not an issue.
So you should take the opportunity, dear teachers. You see, I will give you his introduction. Now you be eager to know who is he, but before
No,
that,
no,
after
okay.
listening to him, you should be very much eager to put some questions to him. Please. Nandi, please, you can ask one question. Even you can put it in chat box. So I do not know. There may be Alpana Nath Madam, because I saw her giving some comments earlier. So whether Alpana Nath Madam is there? She is a teacher from Vishnupat Niketan.
Yeah. Please ask questions. Yes. Yeah. Because it's a discussion. I want to know from you also, what is happening, the ground realities, those things are quite important. Yes, true.
Correct. Correct.
Dipajati Babu, this is the problem if we are on live.
Correct, sir. Correct.
Yeah.
So actually, sir, on behalf of one teacher, so I will put you one question. So it was
Please
asked
do
to
that.
me. It was asked to me
Please.
by one
Yeah,
teacher
please. Yeah.
that in English we have seen many of the Indian writers, those who are from India, they write very good English books like Bikram Seth, Arundhati Rai, Khushwant Singh, Ruskin Bond, Onita Desai, Jhumpa Lahiri, and so many others.
Yeah.
So those people, they write very good English.
Okay.
So why the other people, they cannot write good English like these people, even though they are trying to write it, but they cannot do that. So is there anything that those people, they practice something others, or what is the reason?
Well, I'm thinking I don't want to be blunt. I want to be a little mild in my comments. Why should I write in English? Creative literature. I have given you the example of UR
Yes,
Anantamurthy. I
right,
can
sir.
give you another
Right.
Gyanpith awardee,
Mm.
Gopinath Mohanty.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Gopinath Mohanty had an MA in English literature. He never wrote anything in English, everything in Odia. There are lots of writers who want to write in their mother tongue. Let's be
Mm-hmm.
proud of that. And
Yes.
Jhumpa Ladi, etc., I don't know. They must be, Jhumpa Ladi, to be specific, I don't know whether she is an Indian anymore or not. Citizenship
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So there are lots of people, and for your information, Dibajit Babu, for everybody's information, I have read reviews of books written by Raja Rao, etc., etc., Khushwant Singh.
Yes.
Those English-speaking reviewers have said that let them first learn English, then write in English.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Okay.
About
Okay.
Raja Rao.
Okay. 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 Who is also
So
a
that kind
very,
of comment they
yeah,
have
yeah,
made.
yeah.
We think these people are great, they write great English, but they think these people don't write great English. So, that's quite important. We think because we are writing in English, it's great. No. And let me
Yes.
tell
Yes.
you, whenever I have translated anything, I have always translated from another language into Odia, never vice versa.
Okay.
You know the
Okay.
reason? I think what I can express myself much better in Odia. I can translate from Odia to English. I could do that, but I have never done that in the whole life.
Mhm.
I have always translated from another language to Odia because my Odia is fantastic. I am a native speaker of the language, so that is the reason. So creative literature must be written in the language you know the best. Most of the Nobel laureates have they written in English?
No.
No, they have written their languages, own languages.
Mhm.
So let's be proud of that.
That's
Yeah,
correct, sir. That's correct. Moreover, we have also seen another phenomenon that people normally feel very shy. Suppose in
true.
seminars
I
or in
agree.
academic atmosphere, people very shy when they do not speak fluent English. But that
Yeah.
should not be case. What I
No,
understand is, sir. What?
no, 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 no.
Yeah.
Why? No, fluent English means what? Fine. There is. Do you know that those people who speak fluent English, they cannot write English? Do you know that? The so-called English medium school products. I am very emphatic now. You can see that my voice is very emphatic now. I have at University of Hyderabad, the so-called English medium school products cannot write good English. They only speak.
Yeah.
When it comes to writing, they cannot write well. So there are 4 skills: listening, speaking. There are also reading and writing skills. So what
Correct.
about those skills? I had a student who was speaking English. Oh, fantastic! What can I do for you, Mr. Dibajati Babu? Can I do something for you? So that kind of English. Oh, what's the time now? But when it comes to writing, I used to correct, the whole application of some 7, 8, 10 sentences. I used to make it fully red because I was using a red pen. So, there are 4 skills. So speaking and writing, they are entirely different skills. Remember that. Don't get impressed. Don't be impressed if somebody speaks very good English. No. There is something called basic interpersonal communication skill, spoken language.
Yeah.
But there is something called cognitive academic language proficiency, CALP. These were also proposed by Jim Cummings. So CALP is different from BICS, basic interpersonal communication and cognitive academic language proficiency. So they are 2 different things. So don't get carried away if somebody speaks fantastic.
Okay, sir. So, Lalji, am I audible?
No, somebody is asking, Dipesh Babu,
Yes, sir. Yes,
somebody
sir.
is asking, can you please shed something on the Sanskrit language? What do you want me to say about Sanskrit? Sanskrit is a great language,
Okay.
old language. You see, Sanskrit doesn't have, even though our census of India says that they are native speakers of Sanskrit. Uh, I have never seen a mother speaking to her children in Sanskrit, singing a lullaby or folk song or folk tale in Sanskrit. It's all in the mother tongue. So Sanskrit was a great language. It was a language of intellectual discourses, as English is today in this country. Just a great language. But Sanskrit is nobody's, almost nobody. I mean, there is hardly anybody who speaks Sanskrit as a mother tongue. mother tongue is Sanskrit, which is acquired by children at home. That's what I mean when I say mother tongue. Sanskrit is a great language, no doubt about it. But Assamese is a great language, also equally great, because we'll have to now develop our languages to that extent where we can if there is anything specific you can ask. Is Kulendra Kumar Bhagwati. Yeah, he just first spoke, yes. And one thing, let me tell you, Sanskrit is undoubtedly a great language. It's a great language because it has given many things to other languages and it has taken many things from other languages also. Sanskrit has taken many things from other languages. To be specific, Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, Malayalam, these are not the four Dravidian languages. There are many other Dravidian languages, but Sanskrit has taken many things from these languages. Take, for example, color, time, kala, art, copy, let's say monkey, let's say mayura, peacock. I give you umpteen number of, meena, fish. These are not Sanskritic. These are all Dravidian words which Sanskrit has taken right from the Vedic times. Right from the Vedic times. Sanskrit has given, Sanskrit has taken from other languages also. And this is how India has survived for millennia. Give and take, mutual tolerance, mutual, understanding has been our strength, and let's do that. Let's be proud of our mother tongue and respect other mother tongues also. That's what we'll have to do.
Okay, sir. Thank you. We have listened to you, and we hope we'll be able to speak to you on some other occasions. And definitely, it will be our pleasure if we can invite you to some seminars here. So, dear friends, so probably you might be very eager to know about the speaker today. So we are very thankful that the speaker today is Professor Panchanan Mohanty, who had served in the University of Hyderabad from 1998 to
No,
2018.
1990. No, 1990.
Okay, it is from
I became a
1990
professor.
to...
Yeah, I became a professor in 98, and so professorship from 98.
Okay,
98.
okay,
Yeah, whatever. Yeah,
okay. So he was there in University of Hyderabad from 1990 to
2018.
2018. And Professor Mahanti has published nearly 200 papers in different linguistic journals, national as well as international. And we are very proud that he has written and edited nearly 32 books. And also, we are very proud that he has translated Lumberdai's book, Prithivir
Hahi.
uh,
Hahi.
Hahi. Yes, Prithivir Hahi to Uriya. And he has translated from Assamese itself. And he has not taken any second medium, second language. So he has translated the original book, Lumberdai's Prithivir Hahi. So we are very thankful for that.
Dibajit Babu,
And
should I say something? Dibajit Babu, should I say some small incident? I
okay,
was
sir,
asked
please.
to I was asked to translate that novel. I did that.
Yes,
After
sir.
that, the National Book Trust sent me a kind of foreword written in English
Okay.
and asked me to translate that into Assamese. I found the word uncle there. Is there any
Okay.
Assamese, any Indian who can
No,
translate uncle into his or her language?
no, 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 no. Yes. Yes.
Uncle can be mama, can be chacha, can be tau, can be dipiusa, can be mosa. You don't know. So I
Yes. Yes.
asked them, no, send me the Assamese version. You
Okay.
believe me, everything should be on record. They took almost 3-4 months to send me the Assamese version
Oh my God.
because somebody wrote it in Assamese original and it was
Ah,
translated into English because English, everybody should understand in this country. And I objected to that. I said, no, I need the Assamese version so that I can know what uncle means. So that kind of thing. So
okay.
yeah, now please go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. So, dear friends, so he is a prominent linguist in India, and he is working for different government of India organization as well as organizations like UNESCO. He is a member of core committee of scheme for protection and preservation of endangered languages. He is also a governing body council member of Indian Council of Social Science Research, New Delhi, Ministry of Education, Government of India. So at present, he is academic auditor of the Asian ESP Journal and a member of the editorial board of the Papers of Moscow State University, Oriental Studies, International Arab Journal of English for Specific Purposes, hosted by Centre National pour la Recherche Scientifique et Technique, Translation Today, Journal of the National Translation Mission, Government of India. So he has, besides editing and writing 32 books, he has translated 4 books to Oriya also. And I have already mentioned that Prithibir Hahi is translated to Oriya. And at present, Professor Mahanti is serving as a professor in GLA University, Mathura, Uttar Pradesh. He was an invitee chair in a session on towards UNESCO Atlas of World Languages, building international partnership of creation of language monitoring instrument in the UNESCO conference on improving access to multilingual cyberspace held in Paris 2014. We are very happy that professor during his professorship, during his stay in Hyderabad as well as in GLA University, he has produced 32 PhD scholars and 37 MPhil scholars. So definitely those people have contributed a lot, because Professor Mohanty, who has spoken so nicely about why English is important for India. So I had the idea that he will definitely stress on English only. But after listening to him, I find it very interesting that he was very much interested that the kids should be taught in mother language. And also, he has categorically stressed that if we have to stress on conservation of biodiversity, then we must preserve our language as well. And also, Professor Mahanti has spoken on multilingual, the spirit of multilingualism, why it is so important. Also, he has categorically stated that we are very fortunate that India being a diverse country, we have different languages. So it is also a matter of our, we should feel be very happy that we have so many languages here. Moreover, he has talked about the national education policy, the recent document the government of India has adopted. In that document, Professor Mohanty has also impressed us by mentioning that our children should get their education through mother tongue. And we are also very happy that when people talk in their mother tongue in their home or in their local family. So it can also enrich their language speaking skill as well as their knowledge pool. So we are very happy that a person like Professor Panchanan Mahanti is amidst us in this evening, and he has taken his time for giving us insight how we should take the language for our benefit. And also he has suggested our teachers that how the teachers should deal with our children in the school campus. So probably we will try our best to invite Professor Mahanti someday to Assam to address our people, and if possible, our teachers will also be very happy to interact with him. And I was so happy that almost 1.5 hours passed, but we do not feel at all that we are bored of his speech. All
Oh,
the
thank you.
time, he dragged us from one point to the other, that how language could be helpful for enriching the nationalism itself. So we are very thankful on behalf of Siksha Samiti Assam. With my folded hands, I express my gratitude to
Oh,
Professor
that's okay.
Mahanti, and I express my personal pranam to him.
Oh,
So,
that's
sir, thank you. So,
good.
we are very happy that you have spent the time with us. And this is also my request, if possible. You have told us that you have translated some books. You have written some books. If you kindly give me the list, I can send to the teachers, those who are interested, to go through those books. So that
Okay.
will also enrich me and enrich other people, and it will also be a cross-cultural study, what I feel. And if you come to Assam, definitely we can also help you, and we will also be benefited with our interactions with you. So thank you,
Yeah.
sir, once
Okay. I
again.
will.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And
Thank you. And yeah. बोलिए
Lalji,
बोलिए आप.
uh, so sir, as you can understand Assamese, মই আপোনাক
Yeah. Yeah.
অনুৰোধ
Okay.
কৰিম, মই লাহে লাহে কৈছো, আপুনি
লাহে
বুজি
লাহে
পাব।
କହିଲେ ମୁଇଁ ବୁଝିପାରୁ. So
আচ্ছা,
that kind of thing. So মই ভালো না জানো, but I can understand. Yeah, that's okay.
মানে
Yes.
আপুনি আমাৰ মাজত আজি যি সন্ধিয়াটো আপোনাৰ বৌদ্ধিক দিলে, আপোনাৰ ভাষণ শুনি আমি অতি মুগ্ধ হৈছোঁ, আৰু আপোনাৰ এই পৰামৰ্শখিনি আমাৰ শিক্ষকসকলে যদি তেখেতসকলৰ নিজৰ দৈনন্দিন কাৰ্যসূচীত প্ৰণয়ন কৰিবলৈ যত্ন কৰে, ইয়াৰ ফলত তেখেতসকলৰ ব্যক্তিগত লাভালাভ হোৱাৰ লগতে ছাত্ৰ ছাত্ৰীৰো বহুত লাভ হ'ব। আৰু মই অসমবাসীৰ হৈ, শিশু শিক্ষা সমিতি অসমৰ হৈ, আৰু আজি আমাৰ মাজত যিমানখিনি শিক্ষক শিক্ষয়িত্ৰী উপস্থিত আছিল, সকলোৰে হৈ মই আপোনাক নমস্কাৰ জনাইছোঁ। ভগৱানে আপোনাক কুশলে ৰাখক। আপুনি ভাষাৰ ক্ষেত্ৰত যিমানখিনি কাম কৰিছে, এই কামখিনিয়ে আমাক উপকৃত কৰাৰ লগতে আমি নিশ্চয় গৰ্ব অনুভৱ কৰোঁ যে আমি নিজেও একোটা বৃহৎ, একোটা খুব শক্তিশালী আৰু একোটা খুব সম্ভাৱনাপূৰ্ণ ভাষাৰ অধিকাৰী, আৰু ভাষাৰ জৰিয়তে আমি পৰস্পৰৰ মাজত আদান প্ৰদান কৰিম। আৰু আপুনি এটা বৰ সুন্দৰ কথা কৈছে ছাৰ, যে আমাৰ দ্ৰাবিডিয়ান লেংগুৱেজবিলাকৰ বহুত শব্দ আমি সংস্কৃতত ব্যৱহাৰ কৰিছোঁ। সেইদৰে আমিও সংস্কৃতৰ পৰা লৈছোঁ, ইংৰাজীৰ পৰাও আমি বহুত ভাষা আমাৰ মাজত লৈছোঁ। এই গোটেই কথাখিনিৰ কাৰণে মই আপোনাক পুনৰ ধন্যবাদ জনাইছো স্যাৰ আৰু আমি আপোনাক খুব ভাল ধৰণেৰে কি কৰিব পাৰিছো ক'ব নোৱাৰো তথাপিতো এজ ইট ইজ এ ভাৰ্চুৱেল মিডিয়াম ষ্টিল উই অফাৰ आवर থ্যাঙ্কস টু ইউ স্যার
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आप सबको. I have understand every single syllable of what Dr. Dibyajyoti Mahanta has said. Everything, 100%, not even 0.01% I have missed. No, everything I have understood. And thank you very much. And
থ্যাংক ইউ
namaskar.
স্যার থ্যাংক ইউ
Okay.
সো এই লালজি আপুনি অনুগ্ৰহ কৰি শান্তি মন্ত্ৰ দিয়ক অনুষ্ঠানটো শেষ হ'ব হয়
सावधान सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे
ভবন্তু
सुखिनः
সুখিনঃ সর্বে
सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः
सर्वे
सर्वे
भद्राणि
भद्राणि
पश्यन्तु
पश्यन्तु मा
मा कच्चित् दुःखभाग्
दुःखभाग्
भवेत्
भवेत्
ॐ शान्ति 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 So we have come to the end of the webinar. So I express my gratitude to all the teachers who have participated in this webinar. Also, I have seen that many of the people from within India and abroad have participated here. So from Shisu Shiksha Samiti Assam, I express our gratitude to all of you. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Good night. শুভ সন্ধ্যা শুভৰাত্ৰি সকলোকে নমস্কাৰ জনাইছো